All right, clarinets, we are going to start with song number 1 on page 6 of the Tradition of Excellence book. We are going to learn our first note, which is the note E. We have 7 letter names that we use from the English alphabet to describe different pitches, and those pitches then recycle. Every 7, we start the alphabet over, and every note that has the same name sounds like it's related to each other. If you take a look at number 1, we have 5 lines of the staff, and our E sits on the bottom line. Now, that note, the circle, the pitch, is a circle that doesn't have the center filled in right now. That means that that is a 4-count note that we call a whole note. Right now you need to know that a whole note is 4 counts, and it fills up the measure. The next thing you see is a vertical line, and then we have a rectangle square, or a rectangle symbol hanging from the 4th line. That hanging rectangle represents a whole note rest. That also counts for 4 beats. So when I play these for you, I'm going to play them with the metronome, and the metronome allows us to keep steady time. And for the early exercises, I'll play them at 2 different speeds, a slower one and a faster one. And as we get to the more interesting songs, I'll play them at 3 different speeds, so that as you get better at these, you can challenge yourself to play a little faster. Always start the speed that you feel that you can play everything correctly all the way through. So here is the first song. The first note, for reference, we have the thumb hole and what's called the register key on the back of the clarinet. On the front, we have this little key that looks like a teardrop. We call it the teardrop key. That's for the note A that we'll learn later. There's a note over here called A flat. You want to be careful when you're putting your thumb on the back hole, and remember you have to cover that hole all the way in order to have no air leak, and we have first finger on this hole. We want to make sure that our first finger is not collapsing and hitting that A flat key. So our first note, E, is thumb covering the back hole and first finger covering the first hole. Clarinet reed goes on your lower lip. You can feel your teeth on the reed through your lip. Top teeth on the mouthpiece. Make a seal and blow steady, quick air. Okay, I'm going to do the play along section of number 1. Notice that I didn't breathe that much earlier than the note started. You only want to breathe about a beat or 2 before the note starts. If you breathe any sooner than that, you actually will hold that air in your lungs and it will become stale, and you actually, in the process of using that air, will start to shake a little bit, which sometimes sounds like people being nervous, but getting a bad breath doesn't help us produce good sound. The other thing you want to consider is that we want to use good posture. We want to be sitting up with a fairly straight back. We do not want to crimp the hose of our airway if it's too far one way or the other. We don't get a good smooth path for the air to come out the instrument. We also want to keep our feet flat on the ground and about shoulder width apart. That helps ground us and helps make our body stable for when we need to play. Okay, here's the next version of the song at 100 beats per minute. 1, 2, ready, go. Notice that I'm trying not to take my whole mouth off of the instrument when I take that breath. I'm leaving my teeth and my lower lip engaged. I'm just opening my mouth from the corners, which allows a deep chest breath, low resistance, and it is a nice relaxed breath that isn't going to make us shake with stale air. Okay, in the next one, in the next video, we'll learn a new note. See you in a minute.